All right, so let me explain. Let me explain the car situation. So, I had driven to the Honduran border, Guatemala, to get out with the car, and they wouldn't let me out. They said I had to go back to the Mexican border to work out my visa because the cars have visas or the permits. And so I drove all the way back to the Mexican border, and they couldn't help me. I hired fixers. I went to two borders. There's an El Carmen and Ticonuman. Went to both. Nobody could help me out. By about 4 o'clock that day, I found out that nothing could be done. So I had two options. Two other options were one that probably would have worked, but if it didn't, I would have lost everything, including my freedom, because I was going to steal a set of plates and drive through. Here's the deal: if you have Guatemalan plates, they don't even look at your car. Like when I went with my motorcycle, they looked at the plates like, "See you later." And I've been through that very same border in a Guatemalan plated car a year and a half ago, didn't even look at the car. So that was one option. My other option was I had already spoken to somebody here in Roatan that could import the car for me. What he was going to do was he was going to import the car for me while it was still in Guatemala, send me the plates, and then I could drive through. But I didn't know how long it was going to take. And the guy says I needed a dress and all these other things, and I was like, this is going to take too long. This car out of the United States has been nothing but a fucking problem for me. And I just decided it's got to go. Like, I also wasn't 100% confident that it was going to make the trip. I had loaded the car down and driven, the Honduran border, and then back to the Guatemalan border. I wasn't going to do that all over again and bring it here. And I started thinking about things that, it's a 21-year-old car with 275,000 miles on it. Granted, it's got a JDM motor, and I rebuilt the manual transmission. So the drivetrain would have lasted me a while. But then, like the axles or the four-wheel drive portion or just like the wiring harness, just started thinking of things that would have cost me money, and I barely used the car. The whole time it was in Guatemala, the only real mileage I put on it was trying to get it legal, going back to the Mexican border. So I just decided to give it up. I had already thought about not having a car because I was thinking about moving to the Philippines. And then I just thought, from this point on, I'm just going to own motorcycles, and I'll pay people to drive me wherever I got to go. And living in Guatemala has kind of removed the joy of driving. The entire country, it's not fun to drive. The entire country. There's no cool Sunday afternoon drive. Nobody like in the Northeast is going to Vermont to go leafing. None of that. It's a challenge. It's like the entire country is fucking New York City. It's such a pain in the ass. There is so much traffic. So I just it's got to go. And you'd think it was a hard decision for me to make, but it wasn't. Because this whole trip, I was thinking more logically than emotionally. And I was like, the car's a problem. It's got to go. And that's what I did. I just it's got to go. I got to let it go. Fucking $6,000 to $8,000 worth of money that I'm just not going to recover. It is what it is. I'm here now, and it's worth it. It was worth it. It's sad though. I really like that car. I've had 30 some odd cars in my life, and there's 4 that I really liked, and my 2 elements were 2 of them. Let's just call that one. The Element was great. I loved it, and it's quite possible that from this point on, I'll never own a car again. Yeah, that's it. That's a quick and dirty story of why I got rid of my car. And I got rid of the bicycle too. That was, $800. It's 10 years old. And here is not very pedestrian or bicycle friendly. Neither was Guatemala. I brought my bike. You might have remembered 2.5 years ago when I first started riding my bike, I had made a video. I was like, this is where I'm going to have a really bad accident. Because if you think I'm aggressive driving a car or a motorcycle, you should see me on a fucking mountain bike. Hopping curbs and jumping speed bumps and stuff. And I was like, I'm not going to be riding it here. I'm just going to bring it with me because I have the room. And once I didn't have the room, I got rid of it because I had to go from the stuff that was in the Honda Element. By the way, Honda Elements and Honda CR-Vs are basically the same car, different body, right? Like most of the drivetrain thing. But I can fit more shit in my Honda Element than I can in a Honda CR-V, because it was a 2006 Honda CR-V that took me here, and I couldn't fit all the stuff. That's why the bike had to go. I got rid of a shitload of cooking things like an air fryer, Instant Pot, food dehydrator, sound bars with subwoofers, and blah 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 blah. I got rid of a bunch of stuff, and it just fit in the CR-V, and it was nice the entire trip from Panachel to La Ceiba. I didn't have to drive. I just sat and I looked around, and I think that's the way I'm going to be for the rest of my life. I mean, since I'm 17 years old, I'm always the guy driving, and that ends. You know, like, I don't like it anymore. I turned 56 next Monday, a week from now, and I have significantly changed in the last year and a half. Things that I used to like, I don't like anymore. Things that I didn't like, I like now. And I just, like, driving's not the thing for me anymore. I think the last driving job I had, delivering those motorhomes, just sucked the life out of me. All right, that's it.